On this episode of Drinks Around the Table, I sit down with author Sarah Shipley to discuss her children's book Off Kilta Matilda and its influences from STEM to classic cartoons, Sarah's love of simple, direct messages in art, and why funny and death go great together. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course. What are you drinking?
Well, out of my fabulous RBG koozie, I am having this wonderful Dark Horse Brut Bubbles. Love the logo.
Nice.
The only thing that makes me very mad about my OCD here is that it doesn't line up, so I actually have to turn the can to fit the koozie. So we need to work on our design. We have a design flaw here.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. So let's see. With you, let's start. So yeah, okay, tell me about Off Kilta Matilda.
Well, Off Kilta Matilda is a little book about a ladybug who learns about self-esteem and STEM through prime number theory. We call it STEM esteem. And and so yes, it was a fun book to write, and it took me a long time. And
now you can curse, that's fine.
Oh, can I? Good.
Yeah.
I will take off my children's author hat and go into my.
It's a weird marriage given the topic that we're having, conversation we're having, but sure.
We'll go into like, math theory and self-esteem. But the whole idea is the Off Kilta Matilda's on her wing, she has even an odd number of we'll just say dots, and she learns math and self-esteem and prime numbers through that, and she learns a lot more in book 2 and all the different series and whatnot. Nice.
Wait, so is it a planned lengthy series, or do you have like a trilogy, or do you know?
I have 10.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I have 10 written.
Wow.
All about different sources of math theory and prime numbers and all sorts of fun things, like how to do codes and locks and just fun stuff that I've learned through, I don't know, my years of trying to figure out math theory as an adult.
That's awesome. All right. So is that how you landed on a children's book with math, because you love math so much?
No, I actually hate math. I hate it more than anything in the whole world. In fact, did you not know that?
I did not know that. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay.
No, it doesn't at all. So growing up, I didn't know this because, this stuff wasn't a thing, but I have a form of dyslexia called a different word than dyslexia. And it is basically you get 6s and 9s, like your numbers aren't aligned, right? Right. So it's a form of dyslexia. And my parents could not figure out why I couldn't get math. I was like, and then you add algebra in, and you're like, B plus 6 plus 9. You're like, oh my God, my head just blew up. Right. And then as an adult, I figured out, oh my God, I might just get this. Right. It just took a little maturity.
Yeah.
And I love math theory now. Like, I can read books on it. I have great time learning about different like card shuffling programs and like, how do you shuffle cards to get back to the original shuffle? Like, I love this now, but I didn't love it then because you were graded on it and there's all this pressure on you. And it took me a while to figure out how much I loved it. And so I wrote this whole series about this little ladybug that had self-esteem problems because she didn't like math, right? Or she didn't know she didn't like math, and realized, oh, it's not math. It's just it's theory. You just have to figure it out based on the whatever situation you're surrounded in. And that's how we got to that. Yeah. Awesome. It's called dyscalculia.
Dyscalculia. Okay. Yeah. So essentially, okay, it's dyslexia just with numbers and not interesting. I mean, horrible, I'm sure, to not know at the time.
Right.
But interesting now that you do know.
Yeah. Took a while, but yeah, we got there. So now I can read all sorts of math theory books and do fun equations, and usually I get them wrong.
I'd be there with you, and I don't even have any problem. Like, yeah. All right. So what's Matilda's world like?
Matilda's World's lots of fun. So it's a limited world. So it's she lives in this world, and she has it's like basically a village, and there's a schoolhouse, of course. There's a library, all the things that you need, right?
Sure.
There are paths to walk. There is a place called Bug Labs, based on Bell Labs from back in the day, where
Nice.
they do
Yeah, yeah.
experiments and all sorts of things, which I read. I've read like I don't know how many different books on the history of Bell Labs, like to get out like what they were doing and how they were doing it, and all the great experiments in there. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, there's different households, and it's just like it's a fun but enclosed village, right? And so
Yeah.
within it's think of like oh, think of the Smurfs, right? So it's
Right.
enclosed, no one can come in, no human things can fall into the world, but they can't interact with humans.
Okay. Right,
Right.
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So they use found materials, that's what happens in our world.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But is there any more of the cast that you meet? Or is it mostly
As
just focusing on her?
So she has her prime number club, so it's all of her little friends, and then every every building or every institution has a person that goes along with that institution, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So Bell Labs has someone that's been around a very long time and knows the history of Bell Labs and knows the history of science, and they're basically a walking encyclopedia for science, right?
Right.
And the library does too. So if the kids have a problem they can't solve, the prime number club has a problem they can't solve, they go to one of these two like institutionalized characters. Institutionalized make themselves like they're crazy. That's not the word I wanted, but you know what I mean.
I knew what you mean. Yeah.
And then they can figure out one or the other. So this is how they help solve problems, but the problems are usually solved between the kids or between the club. Right. Kind of like like Scooby-Doo solves problems without an adult entity, right?
Right. Okay.
Adults just usually get in the way.
Fair. Okay. Very cool. So it sounds like you've got a lot of 70s 80s cartoon influence here. What were your was that by design, or were there other actual influences in mind when you wrote it?
Well, I'm a Gen Xer, right? So let's just take it there.
Sure. Same.
Right. So you go from, we can talk about She-Ra all day long.
Yeah.
We can She-Ra, but not the Princess of Power. Like, let's keep with the She-Ra, right?
Okay.
And then we can go to Scooby-Doo is my favorite. It absolutely was for forever, because there weren't any parents involved. Everyone was teenagers. They could drive. They got to wear knee socks. All these. The girl got to be the nerd and got to have a lot of fun, right? Just a great time. Everyone is free. The dog talked, right? It was just fabulous, right? And so that was, that's a big influence of mine. I could go way back in the comic book world with all of my super Bobo comics, because my parents never got me the fancy ones. Like I got all the characters that no one wanted.
Right. Okay.
Right? The couple of 5-cent ones from
right.
the comic store,
Yeah.
But it's based on latchkey kids that aren't snowflakes. Sorry, millennials. That learn from the experience and everything around them, that just figure it out. And sometimes you fail, happens, but then you figure out, how to live your life. And that's where all my comics come from.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've also got they do go, when they can't figure it out, they go to places where they can get help getting the answer with,
right.
their institutionalized people.
The crazy people institutional. Yeah, well, I thought about that a lot, actually, because I didn't want someone pressing an answer on them. Right. So they wouldn't go to their aunt, whomever, who just thought that they knew. Yeah. That the character had to be a part of a framework that could tell them something from science or something from history.
Right. Okay.
And so that's why I made this one character part of Bug Labs, right? Another character part of the library, so that they could basically speak from those points of view, but not give a cheeky oh, back in my day this happened, right? Because that doesn't help kids.
Yeah.
That's just promoting, like, I don't know, what is the term of the day these days? Fake news. It's fake news. Right.
All right.
So we promote science.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Very fun. And there you've got 10 in the line here.
Oh, I know. I'll get them out the door some of these days. One of these days.
Yeah. Are you so you have an artist for the first one? Are you is the same artist throughout, or?
I am sticking with my illustrator until he fires me. He's so fabulous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from having Eric like just develop every little like piece of it, and I'll say, no, this needs to be this, and he's like, Sarah, like that's like 30 changes. You've made me do an Illustrator line art, and I was like, sorry. He's fabulous.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. No, that's very patient. Yeah. To do 30
he's patient.
in line art. And what's his name?
Eric Cycle. He's fabulous.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. And no one gets everyone. He's working for me. Thank you.
You got him booked. So, what book is he on now? Is he still continuing to, or is it a process?
It's a process. So he's on book 2, but he's also doing stills for me for different pitches that I have to do along the way. Okay. So we'll do like we'll do a vignette of book 3, or we'll do a vignette of something, and I'll go pitch that to see if I can get another deal.
Right. Okay. What's your end game for Matilda? Like, what's your end goal?
Well, it's a passion project, so probably not to go broke is my end goal.
Well, sure.
So that would be 1. 2, my end goal? I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it just being a passion project too. Like,
right.
That's not nothing.
Well, I get super excited when people send me pictures. I got a picture the other day of these kids in France reading my book in their English class. And they had Matilda, awesome. And they were talking, and they were trying to translate STEM esteem. And it's like, it's like you can't translate
right,
that,
yeah.
Right. And so it was like, and I was trying to help them translate that with like my limited French. And but that was cool. Like you get these,
that is awesome.
Right. I mean, I sell books. I don't exactly know where they go.
Right.
And I get these pictures back. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Or like I got a picture back of this, maybe she was probably 3-year-old. And the mom took a picture of the child like sleeping, like she was like clutching the Matilda doll, right. And like clutching the book. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so I mean,
fantastic.
That's good enough for me these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, you have dolls, you've got the books. Mm-hmm. You're going to branch further than that, or are you just that good?
No, I have these great, like, these badges for Girl Scouts, but you can use them for anything. And it's so fun to see these kids earn into badges. So I have a STEM badge, and I have a safety on the internet badge. And I have like, I think I have a math entrepreneurship badge. Right. And so you can earn into these things. And I mean, that's fun, but it's, I can Zoom into classrooms. I can do the books. They can go online and be a member of the Prime Number Club, but it's more just, I just like to see young women really excited about STEM, but also really excited about not just doing STEM, but happy that they're doing STEM, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Very cool.
And mostly it's for my own edification. I mean, my God, had I figured out what dyscalculia was, and I was like 3, I wouldn't have been so frustrated. So there you go. It's basically we've come full circle on my ego.
Okay.
That's it.
Makes sense.
Right.
All right. So you've got Matilda. Yeah. You've got, so what's your, I know your influences there. What's the art you consume these days?
Oh my God. So a lot. I'm crazy about art. I love art. I used to think I went to the Corcoran School of Art in DC. I don't even know what years, before it crashed and burned, ran out of money, and became the GW School of Art or something, right? And I went to UMKC in Kansas City just to take a few classes of fine arts. And so I am so pedestrian in my art. So I love things. So I love graphic design. I love signs, like things that make the world work and speak to everyone make me happy, right? So you can have like this high art that's like, oh, I don't even know what this is, right? Like who can judge it, good or bad? Lots of people can. Most of them are males and whites, but whatever. But then you have art that speaks to everyone. Like there's a beauty in a traffic sign. Now, it's nerdy, but let's just go with it, right?
Sure.
Like
I mean, it fits the theme. We've got STEM, Matilda. And,
right.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
with
like
you.
it's like the first principle simplicity of everyone knows what it means. You know the angle, and it's creating a message that speaks to the masses. That's gorgeous to me, like gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
And so I love design. I like package design. Like I like this crazy dark horse design because it's the horse, right? And there's a champagne bottle in the middle or champagne glass. And,
yeah.
right. And it works. It's great. So I used to back in the day probably being a high art, probably because I was, I don't know, young and dumb. And now I love art that can send a message very, very quickly to the masses about something they need to do, right? Like art for a reason or art for messages, whether it's like, I don't know, COVID posters, like wash your hands,
Right.
or stop or exit. Like the simplest things make me really happy if as long as they're clear and they can speak a message. Weird, I know, but whatever.
No, it's cool. I mean, no, the simplicity is, yeah, no, it's minimalism. Like, yeah, I get it. I can understand the appeal.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't know that if you saw my house. I mean, it is covered head to toe in like all like ridiculous art. And I love art with humor, right? So like,
so give me an example.
Well, I do have one. I'll bring it up to the screen if your people can see it. So I bought this in like 94 maybe in Washington, D.C. at an art show. And it's got a lady in overalls, and it says, "Sitting in this position, I am simultaneously aware of the smell of my feet and the odor of my crotch." And that's hilarious because she's just doing yoga. But it's like, oh, that's hilarious, right?
Right.
And I love like funny little things like that. And I have this one over here that I took at a fish show a long time ago. Okay. And it's just a bunch of, what's that? Porta potties on top of each other.
A stack of porta potties.
Right. And I mean, there's a lot of thought in that, right? Like, do you want to be at the bottom? Do you have to work your way up to the top? What do you have to work out from the top to be at the bottom? I mean, there's a lot of questions there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. It's funny.
I don't, the bottom, I get. The top, I don't know. I don't know that that's feasible with that picture, but maybe. Unless there's a way to get to it that I just don't see, but it does bring questions. It was a fish
show. I didn't investigate it that hard. I just took the photo and left. The picture. Right.
Fair.
So I love fun art. I mean, John Waters is one of my favorite artists of all time with his movies and whatnot. And he's just like, everything he does is hilarious. And he loves literature, and hilarity ensues, right? So I don't know. Just great art that makes me laugh or sends a very direct message. Right. It's lovely.
And a very simple, direct message. Like
simple and direct, yes. Yeah. I mean, life is short. I don't have too much time to think about some of these larger messages anymore.
Right. Well, yeah, and some are so obscure as to be like, okay, I would have never gotten that means I like tacos, but all right, sure. I mean, it's a color of, blue and a tree. I don't get tacos from that, but fair.
Right. And if you want me to like tacos, just tell me I like tacos.
Yeah. At least make the picture of a taco.
Right. Or a truck or, something, a shell. I mean, there's lots of things, right? And so, yeah, I at this point in my life, I don't know. I'm interested in fun, direct messages and like just not super like what's the word? I don't want a quiet message. I want it to be like, hello, here I am. This is what I want you to do. And then I can say, yay, I hate it. No, I like it.
Yeah. Speaks to me, doesn't speak to me.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, what am I? I'm almost, how old am I there? Where are we? 46, 47? We're getting up there, right? Just let me know when I'm
45. Take it easy.
46 tomorrow. So,
well, happy early birthday.
Right. Thank you. I don't know. Just tell me what you want, what you really want, and then I'll tell you if I like the art or not.
This episode was sponsored by K&Q Creative, home of K&Q Press, who put out this book series. Wait, there you go. This book series and the upcoming Harrowed Earth series. Available wherever ebooks are sold. Where do you want to go? What do you got? What have I not mentioned that you would like to talk about?
Well, there's so many things I could rant on.
I mean, you can rant if you like. You did what?
So I will talk about an unnamed art auction I did the other day.
Okay.
A couple of days ago. And I realized, the art, the industry of art, let's just say that, is really interesting. And I realized that a lot of female and women of color artists were not getting voted up on the art pieces, and they had more time in, and their art was actually better than some of the other art. And so I sat there and just hit the button over and over again and try to bid those things up because they're deserving of it. And I think that more people should do that. And I challenge everyone here to do that. And what else did I do? Let's see. Oh no. Oh, can I tell you about my new thing? Well, it's not new, but
sure.
No,
it's new to you.
Stop. All right. Wow. All right. So, are you into pencils?
I mean, in that I use them, but I don't like. If you collect them, no, I don't share that passion. But
I am now obsessed. Like it is obsession. So this is a Blackwing.
Right.
Pencil.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's some hot shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's balanced.
Okay.
It's heavy. You can take out the eraser. You can get like different things for it.
Right.
I won't use anything else. Like at this point, I have a black ring sharpener where it's like a double sharpener, so you can like sharpen it and then super sharpen it. I can't. It's crack. This has been my absolute COVID crack. Like I started this whole process, and now it's I even went so far as to buy the Blackwing, like a lighter version of this.
Oh, wow.
And I can't take it. Oh yeah. It's really this. And so there's two things I use for everything. My rodeo notebooks.
Okay.
I have hundreds of them.
Right.
And now my Blackwings.
You're set.
And yeah. And it's creepy. Like I'll bring them out at meetings and people say, well, that's a pencil. I was like, would you like to try my pencil? I feel like a dealer, right?
Let me tell you all about it.
Right. And they do. And they're like, oh, can I keep this? Like that's a $2 pencil, but yes.
This one's free, but next time it's going to be a little higher.
That's right. And then literally I'll get messages like, where can I get more? I'm like, it is that crazy.
Wow. All right. Yeah. You're a pencil dealer.
I am, but this is how I do all my sketches, right? This is how I do all of my.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you sketch, or is it just for writing, or
everything? So I don't get to incorporate as much art in my life as I normally would like to, right? So, I mean, I don't have time for it anymore because I'm doing so much other stuff. And so when I do like my daily planner or all those things, I kind of sketch it out, right? Like what I'm doing for the day, and then I also do like I do a lot of like while on phone calls, like not dabbling, but like I'll just draw different shapes and whatnot. You know, it helps me like concentrate. And so I do like one page. My first page will be of notes and like kind of a sketch, and my second page, like the next page will be of like just notes I took during a phone call, but they're all kind of like sketched out and whatnot. But I'll go on like the other day I tried to do what's it called? What is it, Lamort series? Have you heard of this? It's like it's a still life, but then you put a skull on it or a symbol of death.
I was gonna say
really
death,
happy, right?
Something. Yeah, no.
Right.
I'm somewhat familiar.
Right. So I'm always, I'm super interested in not in death, but I'm super interested in the idea of like you only live once, right? And so they'll have these still lives where you'll put like two happy things, like a skull in the middle. Yeah. And so I was sketching one of those out the other day, and that was extremely hard, by the way.
Sure.
Because I am an awful fine artist awful. I've taken a lot of classes.
Enough to know that you're awful at it.
Awful.
That's rough.
I don't have the patience.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I spent so much in art degree. It's like, oh shit, this will never work. I'm like a really good at graphic design, and I'm a great art. Like I can tell you what works, what doesn't, but God, don't make me sketch it.
Yeah. Well, it's such disparate. You love funny art, but you like to put death in it. So like, yeah, that'd be
Well, I mean, to be fair, death is like, life's big ass joke at the end.
Okay.
So might as well.
So that's the overall theme. So nobody would have to ask like, what's she going for in this piece? It's always, it's a joke because death is a joke.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
super fun. I'm super fun times.
Well, I mean, retirement, you got to do something. So you can just strike it up then. Skulls and humor.
I mean,
like
really?
I like it. No, I'm serious.
Well, is that not Hamlet? No, that wasn't Hamlet. No, that was Hamlet, right?
Yeah. Alas, New York.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or a lot, whatever it is. Yeah. Don't
whatever it is.
It's definitely Hamlet, but I don't know the line off the top of my head.
Right. Well, I was thinking Hamlet, or then I was thinking Macbeth, but then that's the Three Sisters. Yeah. Whatever. Death. It happens.
There's a lot of death in Shakespeare. That's true.
Yes.
All right. So we're winding down here.
Okay.
Still got a few minutes.
Yes.
It's 2025.
Okay.
So 4 years.
Okay.
Oh God, this is essentially me in a roundabout way asking if you have a 5-year plan for Matilda. All right. Never mind. I don't want to do that. What?
Because you know what my answer would be.
Well, not only that, but it's so pedestrian of a question. Like, all right, what 10 books are done. You're finished. Matilda is done. You've done all you want to do with Matilda. What's in the backlog? Anything? Or are you a one project at a time?
Oh my God. No. So I have an entire folder of projects.
Okay.
Like it is probably 100 projects big, and it's all the stuff I haven't been able to work on. So I have I can't tell you how many short stories I want to write. I can't tell you how many nonfiction I want to write from different points of view. I have a ridiculous stuff. I have so many things, and I've outlined them, and but I don't have time to sit down and write them. Right.
Okay.
And so, here's what we do. We figure out some way for me to get to, let's see, I don't know, some sort of poolside with a pool boy, and a spray bottle, and I can just write all day, right?
Okay.
I would just get it done, because knock them out. Yeah, I have anything from this hilarious. Did you ever hear that book Skinny Bitch?
I've heard of it, yes.
Right. It's this hilarious way it's written about skinny bitch, whatever. But the tone of it is so funny. But I have a series of those on nonprofit, on fundraising, on because a lot of it's just, just get on with yourself. Listen, bitch, go raise the money. Just do the ask. All this, but I have a variation of that, right? 3 versions. And I have another variation on infrastructure and highways.
Wow. All right. That's a leap from one
I know,
to the other.
But I love infrastructure. I think it's sexy, but it's this whole the Randian version of infrastructure is doing this for the individual, but really infrastructure fucked up communities with systematic racism in the fucking 1950s and ruined.
I love that you caught the second one, but not the first one. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, right. And so I feel very, very strongly about infrastructure and systematic racism and systematic divides. And so I could write 10 books on that.
Okay.
But it'd be really cool to write it from the Bridges point of view, right?
Like the inanimate object bridge, like the bridge.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you know where you could go with that, right? There's all
Right.
different ways, but like,
Right.
you know, this bridge sees this side and this side and what's happening, right? And like, I mean, there's just so many different ways to go with that. I mean, I have a ridiculous amount of work that I have to do at some point, you know, but
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
Yeah. No, you would definitely have I mean, particularly with God, there's such different projects too. Like because I can't do, so when I write, when I was learning to code back in the day, my brain wouldn't shift from code to where and then like come home and write fiction. Like I just couldn't. It wasn't an easy so I can't imagine having two different projects or two such different projects and trying to knock them out simultaneously. Like I couldn't do it.
I mean, you never know. I probably won't be able to do it. So that's why I'll have to do one and then another, right?
Well, okay. There you go. First one, then the other. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for having a drink with me.
Thank you very much. It was lovely.
Where can everybody find you?
Well, I was going to joke about my OnlyFans page, but I don't have one because that's silly. You can't find me there.
Yeah, right.
But so you can find me at offkiltamatilda.com or shipleycommunications.com, or you can look me up on LinkedIn, Sarah Shipley.
Okay. Well, I'll put all that down below.
Like all the things. Just find me. You'll find me.
Just put in your name and you'll find you.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, and we will talk to you next time.
All right. This is fun. Thank you.
Yep. And that wraps up our visit. Remember, if you'd like to get together for a drink, just reach out. We'll put something on the books. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe, do all the things down below. Till next time.